I'm afraid Colombia has shot itself badly in the foot with a foot and mouth disease. Thank you, Uday.
All right, let me in fact take that to Adit Kothari as well. Adit Kothari, what do you read between the lines into this position that Colombia took on Operation Sindoor, on of course terror launch pads, being taken out by India? Why are they sympathizing with terrorists? Why are they shedding tears for terrorists? Adit Kothari.
So Uday, I think if you look at how the inward-looking politics of Donald Trump has created a sense of vacuum around the world, which China seems to be filling in very well. I mean, South America, Latin America seems to be the backyard of the US. But today, if you look from a trading pattern perspective, with Brazil, with other Latin American countries, and including Colombia, China is now dominating that sort of trade. So China has now become the sort of dominant country which is actually trading with Latin America. With Colombia, China has already entered into a BRI agreement, in lieu of which they've decided to give them a dozen of J-10 fighter jets as well. So obviously, I see the Chinese tentacles playing their hand over here, which they want to ensure that they keep in line with the Pakistani sort of narrative. But from an Indian prism of things, so that I think India is now spearheading that sort of worldwide movement and dominance against that global terrorism, and that's all thanks to the vacuum that someone like a mercantile and myopic Donald Trump is leaving behind. Because now it's India which is going against the epicenter of terrorism, which is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and nations are now seeing India's position as the lead campaigner. Including when we look at the Operation Sindoor, India has predominantly owned the escalation dominance after allowing ourselves to becoming casualties of state-sponsored terrorism for years. So now has come a time when India is now tactfully and very in a very crafted manner, in a very calibrated manner, be sort of engaging with Pakistan in a sort of escalation dominance perspective, but also leveraging our diplomats globally. So 33 countries which are going to be visited by our delegation. The message is going to be quite crisp and clear. It's about, we are the first casualties of terrorism. This has been happening to us since 1947, and time again, Pakistani state has a stated policy of using asymmetrical warfare against another sovereign state. 2611 being one of them, Osama bin Laden being found, 800 meters away from a military compound in Abbottabad. So all of those kind of things is what we are pushing into the public domain, so that the collective conscience of the globe understands what Pakistan is and how badly India has been inflicted by Pakistani-sponsored terrorism. Uday.
Yes, and of course, at the end of the day, an outreach is important